Looks like they updated Dead Rails again. This time they added a new class along with a new boss fight and also a new gun. Let's go check it out. First off is this priest class. You spawn with 2 holy water and 2 crucifix, which is pretty OP since they are the 2 strongest weapons in the game. However, I don't think you can really sell anything that you spawn with anymore. This can be used to easily clear the first town you see by baiting together all the zombies and just throwing 1 or 2 holy waters. With the priest, you also get this super drippy gold chain, which I think is pretty cool. Unfortunately, you become bald, but that's honestly worth it. Personally, wouldn't buy this since both the items are only a one-time use. They also redid all the houses by giving them this little rack on the bottom, which is honestly such an upgrade. Let's go in-game and check out what they've added. First of all, rope can now be used as a tool. When you find one like I did here, just press E on it to equip and it should show up in your hotbar. Now simply press F on any object and then press F again on anything else, and these 2 items should have a rope attached in between them. Each rope can be roped 10 times before it stops roping. You can also use the rope on horses, as you can see here. You can even do tug of war, but that usually ends up in both of the horses getting flung to outer space. Also works with dead horses, which can actually be dragged around and also sat on. As you can see here, I was able to tow my friend with my living horse while he sat on the dead one. We can probably make a caravan if we have enough dead horses, but that's gonna be for a later video. Also, they moved the castle to 20,000 meters only, which makes it super convenient to invade early on. We will definitely need the loot here to fight the new boss and also the new stop, which will be later in this video, so let's go check it out. Since I had like 4 rifles which I could instantly fire, these werewolves got absolutely shredded. This werewolf tried to diddle me, but I took it like a man and double pumped him and sent bro back to the lobby. The loot was still stacked as always, but they replaced the statues with gold and silver ones. I think it's time for the new boss fight. Now, this can spawn anywhere between 50,000 and 60,000 meters. We got it at about 53,000 meters. It should look like this electricity power plant thingy or whatever with a little tower on top of it. Inside the left room, you can find some books and also some gold and silver bars, which are super useful. Looks like they added more lore too, because in this letter, they're describing some sort of new gun being shipped to the FBI. The main room just spawned some random junk. Now I think we're actually supposed to piece together and revive a werewolf here. Their limbs can be found around this building. I'm not too sure if it's random, but we found the limbs scattered about the entire plant. The main room had a leg, while the book room had a torso and an arm. I'm not too sure where my friends got the rest, but there's also this goofy head you gotta put on the werewolf. And this note confirms it. This scientist guy left a note for us to rebuild him and put his brain on the body. Anyways, once you piece it all together, the dude should look something like this. He honestly looks super stupid, but I'm not one to judge. Now go to the right room and flip this lever. This starts the reviving process for the big buff scientist guy. It'll take a few minutes for it to finish, and while it's finishing up, you need to defend the compound against some scientist zombies. They're honestly barely a threat even if you're alone, since they're pretty slow and have like barely any health. I'm pretty sure you can also sell their corpses, so be sure to bring them along too. Looks like after a while, the zombies start spawning a little faster and they run faster too. I'm not too sure how to check the progress on finishing this guy's body, but I guess you just fight for a while and it just works. There's also going to be lightning outside, so unless you have the priest class, just stay indoors. Also, this zombie tried to give my friend a kiss but might have been rejected. So, as long as you are looking around and have some sort of gun on you, you'd do perfectly fine here. The zombies die to a single shot to the head and don't spawn incredibly fast. Apparently they can spawn indoors also, so be extra careful. When the dude finishes, he'll let you know by aggressively bursting everywhere and vanishing. He leaves behind some bonds and also this weird new laser gun thingy. He also left behind his trail of feet grippers, which is just extremely weird. This game is actually getting mad sus. Anyway, for some reason, these zombies will continue to spawn, so be sure to make your way out of here as soon as possible. This new gun is probably the most OP weapon in the game as of right now. As you can see here, it one-shots a zombie like it's nothing. But the same can be said for many other guns. So, what's special about this? Well, you can quite literally cast a lightning spell from the heavens, like Zeus. It's basically the crucifix, if it was reusable. As you can see here, it killed both the bandit and its horse in one shot. The range for this splash damage is pretty small, but it one-shots anything it hits, which is just super broken. Unfortunately, we didn't choose to loot any towns after getting this, but as you can see here, it can pretty easily kill the entire town in 1 or 2 shots. We basically cleared the entire town just now by firing at it twice. This thing honestly needs a massive nerf for being so easy to get. I'm also pretty sure they made bandit camps way more common. Before, it wouldn't be rare for us to not run into even one after 80 kilometers, but right here, 2 of them spawned side by side. Honestly, they're super OP, spawning tons of rare guns and valuables. Tao didn't really want to stop, so we just had to drive by these, sadly. Anyways, before we went to 80,000 meters, we tried to reload this new gun. There's this new weather event at night, which is Thunderstorm. You'll know it's Thunderstorm night if the sky turns blue. If you have the new Priest class, you can't get hit. But this could be very dangerous for anyone else. I'm not too sure how to survive this, but I'd assume you just have to get under the cabin in the train or go in some sort of house. Anyway, in order to recharge the gun, you need one of these lightning rods. They increase the chance of lightning hitting them instead of anywhere else and won't damage anyone around it. If you have your gun right next to it, when lightning strikes it, your gun will reload. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for us, so we just had to live with however much ammo we have. Anyways, after a good 10 more minutes of random crap, we finally made it to 80,000 meters. But sadly, it was Alpha Wolf night that time, so we just had to run around in circles. This is actually the perfect chance to test out just how good this new gun is. Now, I did also accidentally shoot Tao's precious horse, but it was able to kill both the horse and the Alpha in one shot, which is just insane. The Alpha has like 500 health and it got one shot, so this thing possibly could be the strongest weapon now. I guess this Alpha didn't see what happened, so he had to find out for himself. Thankfully, my other friend here, Coolio, wiped out all the machine gun mutants before so we could go in without much issue. Since we summoned that big buff guy from earlier, I think he's gonna spawn here after we pull down the bridge. But first we need to go through these bandits. This dude somehow blocked one of my bullets with his gun, which is just straight up insane. Anyway, Tao somehow found a way to die despite having stacks and stacks of snake oil, but of course we'd revive him. All that's really left are just some stragglers in the town, which were pretty easy pickings. Now, all that's left is to pull the bridge. I heard they actually redid this final fight a little, which I assume is that they added this new boss to the mix. Let's see what's going on. Bandits spawn as usual, but I think a little less than before. Thankfully, sprinter zombies no longer spawn, which just makes me so happy. These bandits are super easy pickings unless you let them get close. After a while, I guess the big man himself decided to come in. First thing he did was to throw this meteor at my friend, which was just a complete airball. He also threw one at me, and for some reason this one had a little kick to it. I think this is his range attack if you try to run away. He'll just throw an entire thunder meteor at you. Anyway, that guy did like over half my health with a single hit, even though I have full armor, so do not try to melee him. This guy was absolutely eating headshots from both the rifle and this new gun. This would be so hard if I didn't have a horse. Unfortunately, my electric gun ran out of ammo, so I had to just resort to rifle spamming the crap out of him. Not the most honorable, but he did eventually die. This is definitely a very easy boss fight if you just have a horse, since you can quite literally infinitely run away from him and shoot back at him. Looks like his corpse is also, quote, valuable. However, I don't think we're really going to have time to find out how much it really sells for. Overall, this is one of the most fun updates this game has had, and I'm hoping to see similar ones in the future. They'd better add an extension to the bridge, or just more boss fights, since this was actually quite fun. Anyways, Tell me what you think of this update in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.